Is it true that Jungkook and Jimin's private chat leaked to the public? What exactly was the last sentence that made the whole army tremble and goosebumps? Asterisk, what would you do if you suddenly read the private conversations of two of the biggest idols in the world, which were never meant for the public to see? Imagine those moments when a conversation that should only belong to two best friends, Jungkook and Jimin from BTS, spread across cyberspace. Not only because of the touching content of the chat, but because the last sentence in the conversation not only invited a question mark, but also standing hair. Before you continue reading, don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment according to you. Is this a real leak, or is there something darker behind all this? The big surprise came when social media was suddenly shocked by the leak of a screenshot that claimed to be the contents of a private conversation between Jungkook and Park Jimin, two BTS members who are already known to have a close relationship like brothers. Conversations that at first seemed ordinary slowly turned into very emotional, mysterious, and in the end, left millions of fans sleepless. The viral conversation began with a warm greeting, typical of two friends who understand each other even without many words. However, the further the chat was read, the atmosphere turned out to be very personal, touching on old traumas, memories of trainee times, and even deep feelings of loss. Asterisk, Hyung. If everything changes, you'll still remember me, right? Asterisk, don't say anything like that, Jungkook. You know I never left you. But if I have to go, please tell them I'm happy, okay? Asterisk, sentence by sentence, as if taking the reader into a world that only they both understand. The fans began to wonder. Asterisk, is this a sign that something will happen? Is Jungkook hiding something from the public? Asterisk, and then the last sentence was read. If I don't come back, please take care of them all, Hyung. Specifically, that song. Asterisk, songs? What song? Is this a metaphor? Is this a hidden message? Many theories have emerged, from allegations about secret projects, spiritual messages, to the possibility that this chat is related to something more serious, even worrying. Not only the army trembled reading that sentence. K-pop fans from various fandoms stormed online forums, trying to solve the mystery of the last sentence. Some claimed it was a hint about Jungkook's solo comeback, while others theorized that it was part of an ARG or interactive game BTS was secretly preparing. But what happens if all this is not part of the promotion? What if this is really a real conversation leaked without their knowledge? Asterisk, what's really going on behind the scenes of the K-pop industry? Asterisk, how much pressure do happy-looking idols actually put on the stage? Asterisk, and is there a reason why this conversation suddenly spread just a few weeks before BTS's birthday? Asterisk, on Twitter, the hashtag #ChatJungkookJimin immediately topped the first trending in less than 2 hours. Many cried reading the contents of the emotional chat. Not a few were afraid of the worst. Comments such as, "I can't sleep after reading this," or "Why is the last sentence like goodbye?" flooding social media platforms. The last sentence in the chat was not just the end of the conversation. It became the opening of an unstoppable storm of speculation. What does "if I don't come back" mean? Back from where? Whether it's about personal travel or something darker, in the global fan community, speculation began to take an increasingly alarming turn. Some fans have mentioned that Jungkook has looked different in recent months. His gestures, the blank look in his eyes in some live broadcasts, to his choice of words that sounded like a hidden farewell message. Did we all miss that signal? Not a few began to associate the contents of this chat with the tremendous mental pressure that is often experienced by South Korean idols. The world of K-pop has always been famous for its glamour and sparkle, but many know, and many more turn a blind eye, that behind those stages and spotlights, there is a psychic pressure that can destroy anyone. No matter how strong they seem from the outside, the fact that these conversations mention the words "go" and "no return" fuels the theory that Jungkook may be struggling with something very personal and onerous. And Jimin? The counter sentence looks like someone who knows something but is helpless. Whatever happens, I'll keep it a secret, but you have to promise me you'll be back. Asterisk, are these just overly dramatic words? Or is it just the code of a big secret that is being guarded? In the idol world, simple words can be deeply meaningful, even dangerous. Asterisk asterisk, but wait a minute. Who leaked this chat? Asterisk asterisk, this is not just a fan edit. Many longtime fans are able to intuitively recognize the style of both of their languages. Sentence structure, affectionate calls, even the way they express concern, it all feels authentic. One soldier from South Korea even swore that he had never seen this kind of communication pattern in their now-deleted VLive broadcast. And this brings us to the most controversial question of all. Asterisk asterisk, was the content of this chat deliberately leaked by insiders? Asterisk asterisk, this possibility shook the fandom. Conspiracy theories are also emerging. Some said it was a silent protest from one of the agency's staff who felt the members were not being treated properly. Some have alleged that this is part of a drama marketing strategy deliberately made as if it were leaked to increase public expectations of BTS's next secret project. But there is something much darker about it all. The suggestion that this is a form of resistance from the members themselves to the pressures they are systematically subjected to. It's no secret that the Korean entertainment industry has long been accused of hiding the truth about the welfare of their artists. Issues such as extreme fatigue, restrictions on freedom, to bans on talking about mental health have been hot topics for years. Is it possible that this chat is a form of deliberate leak, their last attempt to sound out? If it is true that this is a form of protest, then the question is, asterisk asterisk, what do they expect from us? Is this a please request wrapped in code? Asterisk asterisk, the comments from the army in different parts of the world began to contain a much more serious tone. Many felt betrayed, not by Jungkook or Jimin, but by the system they had been supporting. Comments like, "We applaud for a grand stage, but do we ever really care about them as human beings?" began flooding online forums and YouTube comment columns. And don't forget the word song. In that last sentence also raises another, much deeper question. Is this the last song? What is this as a form of farewell wrapped in the form of a masterpiece? Will we accept the song one day without knowing that it is the last message left by someone who does not want to be remembered only as an idol? To date, the agency has not given any statements. The silence only increased suspicion. Why are they silent? Are they negotiating a crisis? Or are they still looking for ways to control the narrative before it's too late? More surprisingly, in one of the old interviews that is now viral again, Jungkook once said, "If one day I can't talk anymore, I hope my music still speaks for me." Asterisk, sentences that were once considered poetic are now read with tension. Is all this part of the puzzle that he has been putting together for a long time? Or did we realize too late? Everyone asks. Everyone guesses. But one thing is certain. These conversations, whether real or not, have opened the deepest wounds and fears in the fan community that we too often demand, too soon idolize, but so slow to really hear. The night after the leak became a long night, not just for fans, but also for the Korean entertainment industry, which has been silent, tight-lipped, and sterile from honest conversations about mental health and systematic pressure. It's not just about two big names talking quietly through a screenshot. It's the bursting of a bubble that has been floating in the sky full of falsehoods. Many insiders began to speak out, albeit with anonymous accounts. Some stated that the atmosphere behind the scenes of a large agency like HYB is not as beautiful as the smiles seen on camera. You think they slept well after the concert? No. They go straight into training sessions or recordings. Sometimes do not sleep 2 days in a row. And you know what? They should not tell the public that they are tired, said one of the anonymous sources, who is believed to be a former production crew member. This comment shook. Because if that's true, then what happened to Jungkook and Jimin could be more than just an exchange of private messages. It's the silent screams of two young people who were never asked to be public heroes, but forced to keep smiling over their own wounds. Oh, you really think this is all just a drama for promotion? And what makes the chest feel tight the most is the voice recording that somehow appeared in the Reddit community a few hours after the chat leak. The voice believed to be Jimin's was heard saying slowly but heavily, he said he needed time. But I'm afraid he doesn't have much time left. What does that sentence mean? The sentence shook the foundation of the fandom that had stood on the foundation of the belief that they would always be together. BTS is a family that will never be separated. But now, reality presents another wound, that idols are also human, and they can fall, can disappear, can even give up. The issue of suicide in the K-pop industry is not new. Names like SHINee's Jonghyun, Sully, and Guhara are still imprinted on the minds of anyone who has ever loved Korean music. And now the fear is back. Will we lose again? Some fans began to demand that the agency be transparent. But there was no answer. There was only the removal of comments, the blocking of those accounts that spread screenshots, and attempts to quietly suppress public speech. This is no ordinary handling. This is an attempt to hide something, and the public asked, what is so dangerous that it should be hidden? Even some Korean journalists began to voice their suspicions. In an independent radio broadcast in Seoul, a former entertainment journalist said that large agencies have special teams that handle crisis control, not to protect artists, but to maintain the value of the company's shares. The artist's mental health? That's number 2. The main thing is, do not let the public know. If this is true, then we are not just talking about chat leaks. We are witnessing a system that silences truth for profit. And Jungkook and Jimin are probably the quietest victims. And the bravest point, one of the most provocative theories that has emerged says that the chat was not leaked, but sent on purpose by one of them, for the world to see, not because they want attention, but because they run out of other ways to talk. And if this is their last form of communication, then the question now is, will we be silent? Or will we respond as an emergency call? The most heartbreaking part is how fans began to reread the lyrics of BTS songs with new meanings. The lyrics of the songs Magic Shop, The Truth Untold, and Still With You are now seen as fragments of a message that they have long been trying to convey symbolically. I have a lot of things I want to say, but I'm afraid you'll leave after hearing it. This lyric, which once felt like poetry, now sounds like a testament. And yes, that last sentence came back to haunt. If I don't come back, please take care of them all, Hyung. Specifically, that song. The word song is now a national puzzle. Many believe that the song has already been recorded, but has not yet been released. Some say the song contains a final message from Jungkook about himself, his life, and how he feels about the pressures of being a public figure. The song can be so emotional, or so painful, that the agency keeps it tight. But what made the hair stand on end was the statement of an anonymous producer in the K-pop underground community. He said that he had heard a demo of the song that was touted as Jungkook's last work before his internal hiatus. He refused to name the title, but described it with the phrase, "It's not a song. It's a death note sung in the most beautiful voice you've ever heard." If you're reading this, then you're already part of something bigger than just fandom. You are now in the middle of a big question. Is this just drama? Or is this the last request for help from someone who is tired of being a symbol without ever being heard as a human being? Don't shut up. Your voice may be the only reason they're still standing. Leave your comments. Voice an opinion. Spread awareness. And if the song is really released someday, listen to it. Listen with your heart, not with expectations. Maybe that's the only way we can answer Jungkook's last message. Are you ready to hear the truth, even if it hurts? The morning after the conversation was leaked, the mood in the global K-pop community changed dramatically. It is no longer just a fandom that shares photos and comeback theories, but a dark arena full of suspicion, panic, and the most astonishing, accusations between the fanbase, between authorities, even between members indirectly. Some large fanbase accounts began to disappear. Admins who have been actively sharing concert photos and promotional schedules suddenly announced hiatus for personal reasons. One admin who has been running a dedicated fanbase for Jungkook for 5 years wrote in his last thread, "We know more than we can say. But this time, we can't pretend anymore. Sorry." The words spread like wildfire in the dry forest. People began to wonder, what exactly do they know? Why did the admin who had seemed loyal suddenly choose silence? Is this a sign that something bigger, darker, is happening? It doesn't stop there. A number of pieces of video from previous concerts began to go viral again, this time seen with different glasses. In one clip, Jimin is seen turning his head toward Jungkook while holding back tears as the song Epiphany is played, even though it's not his song. In another clip, Jungkook appears to be sculpting for a few seconds as the camera pans over him, as if his thoughts are drifting away from the stage. And all that, once considered an artistic moment, is now a fragment of evidence that they have signaled. But we choose to applaud. Then another, no less provocative question began to circulate. Is this all about HYB's new contractual agreement? Some theories say that BTS members, especially Jungkook and Jimin, had disagreements with the management because of their different visions of the future. Jungkook wanted to be more artistically free. He wanted to release songs that he wrote from personal experiences, including trauma, loss, and emotional exhaustion. But the agency is said to consider the material too dark, not fit the image of BTS. If that's true, then the leaked chat could be a form of frustration that has not been able to be vented. There is an even more extreme theory, that the chat was recorded and leaked by someone from the inside, someone who wanted to open the disgrace of the agency. Imagine that. Someone from within a company as big as HYB, who had been known to be sterile and organized, suddenly went radical to make the world know what was really going on. And that means the internal conflict behind the scenes is not just a rumor, it can be a time bomb. Do you believe it? Or will you choose to close your eyes as before? Meanwhile, the agency remains silent. There is no clarification. There is no objection. Only the long silence sounded like an indirect confirmation. And in the world of celebrities, silence can be louder than press statements. Even more surprising was the response from some of the other artists who accidentally deleted this issue. A South Korean female solo singer who was previously under a major label wrote on the X account, formerly Twitter *, don't think they're happy just because they're smiling. Some smiles are masks that are forced to keep you from buying tickets. The tweet was deleted an hour later. But the trail has already been left. Is there a silent movement among idols to dismantle the reality of the industry they live in? Are Jungkook and Jimin embarking on something that will shake the K-pop order from within? Even international fans from outside the BTS fandom began to speak out. Music influencers from America and Europe have called the situation a big red flag in the Asian entertainment industry. They compared it to cases of exploitation of young artists in Hollywood, likening the mental stress in the K-pop system to a modern form of slavery, confined, silenced, fully monetized. What makes the atmosphere even more tense is the fact that some of Jungkook's old videos are now restricted in access. The live video, which used to be full of jokes and singing, suddenly became inaccessible in some regions. Is that part of crisis management? Or an attempt to remove traces? The unavoidable questions if they don't want us to know, why is all this coming to the surface now? Is this an accident? Or the last message they hope will reach our ears, albeit at great risk? One thing to remember, the truth does not always come in the form of an official statement. Sometimes it comes as a piece of leaked chat. Sometimes as a vague sentence in a song. And sometimes as a stifling silence. If Jungkook is really in trouble, and Jimin is the only person he trusts to deliver that message, then we who are reading, hearing, and spreading this story become part of a much larger narrative than just fandom. It's no longer about music. It's about people. Will you be part of the ones who continue to ignore, or the ones who start to ask, dare to care? And if you're feeling goosebumps reading this, it's not because of the dramatization. That's because somewhere, maybe, Jungkook was waiting for someone to answer his last message.